Okay, and through the magic of editing, we're done. It actually took about a week working that dehydrator. And I think you're going to see why here. Here's the beef. Where's the beef? There's the beef right there. And I just want to show you something here real quick. When we talk about dry beef, see how that just breaks into pieces? It doesn't bend at all. It just crumbles. That's, go on now, go on, dog. Beef. That's what we're looking for, is that dried crunchiness. So there's the beef. Here's my fish. That's that cod, Atlantic cod. This is the chicken. That's chicken breast. That's all nice and dry. This is the pork, which I've never tried before. Never actually tried the chicken or the fish either. They should work. I know people used to make a version out of fish, and I know you can make jerked chicken, so maybe it'll make pemmican chicken. So anyway, pork. Here are my blueberries. Forgot to put them on the table, but here they are. Dried blueberries. So everything's in here. It's my beef fat. From that 10 pounds of fat, I got 7 pints of rendered purified fat. And if anybody ever tells you that you can't actually pressure can fat, and I've actually had people tell me that pressure canned, I do it all the time. Done it for decades. So it's time to get started now. I got to grind all this stuff up. And in the old days, of course, I would have used a mortar and pestle, and it would have taken probably another month. But I'm going to make use of some modern technology, and I'm going to use Cuisinart and a spice grinder. So let's get started on that. Okay, so I got my Cuisinart here. I'm going to start with the beef. And this is some meat that I ground up earlier, tested out. And it's actually beef as well. That's what it looked like when it was ground up. And I just like to break up into slightly smaller pieces because it just grinds up quicker in the Cuisinart. Actually, you know what? I'm done with this, so I'm going to move it to a staging area. And don't mind the mess here. That's from that meat I was grinding up earlier. And what we're looking for here is what you could call a coarse powder consistency, I guess, would be a good way to describe it. Let me pour this out here and show you. This isn't quite there yet, but you can see it's still got some pretty good pieces in it. I'm going to pick these out. But you see, it's kind of a coarse, powdery texture. I don't know if powder maybe is the correct word. It's not really powder, but it's kind of coarse. But it's when you bite into it, first of all, the fat will absorb a little into the meat anyway, soften it up a little bit. And then by cutting it as thin as I did, there aren't going to be any like gravel-sized pieces in it. Find a few of these pieces like that. I'll just break them up in half with my fingers and let it go. And again, we got a few slightly larger pieces. And, back in the old days, if they were using a mortar and pestle, they would have done it like this too. I mean, you'd bang it and, hammer on it and grind it and powder it up. And then when you'd go through and inspect it, you'd look for pieces that you'd missed. You put them back in and you grind it again. I mean, that's just how you did it. So there's that. I don't think I need to run any of this through spice grinder. I think I will anyway, though. Some of this stuff is kind of large, and for that we're just going to And again, I'm not really powdering it. I'm just breaking it up. Okay. There we are. I'll just keep doing that. Probably one more batch. And the beef will be done. Okay, and we're back. And yes, I've changed shirts. It's actually the next day. Yeah, it was kind of late last night when I got everything finished up. So, got my meat. Now here is my beef. This is my chicken, pork, fish, some blueberries, and then of course my beef fat. And I'm going to start mixing all this up. I'm going to change the camera angle here so you can get a closer up view of what I'm doing. And it is time now to put on some gloves. And this is not so much to keep bacteria off of the meat because there are billions of bacteria spores landing on this stuff right now. Okay, it's just in the air, it's everywhere. This isn't going to help. What this is for is to keep the fat off of my hands. And you might think that's kind of strange if you're a germaphobe, but yeah, that's really what it's for. Okay, now to prove to you that this fat actually is pressure canned, I don't know if you heard that or not, but okay, pure beef fat. Let me change the camera angle and we'll get started here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my beef, pick out some, if I run across any big chunks. Now, and then I'm going to add some fat. Now, there's several ways you can do this. You can melt the fat and then add the beef into it and you can stir it all up. Or you can do like I'm going to do here and just scoop out some fat. And you notice it has a consistency kind of like butter. And I'm just going to start kneading it and mixing it together until it has the consistency of a Roma plastilina or a Play-Doh. So anyway, we're going to mix this up. Again, until it holds together. You see it's kind of crumbly right now. We want it to hold together. So I got to add in some more. I think this will be enough once I get it all mixed together. See, it's holding together, but it's not mushy, it's not crumbly. Just like so. And so what I'm going to do now is form it more or less into a bar and set it here on this wax paper. Or parchment paper, actually. It's a little thick for a bar. There. There's one. Now on this one, I'm going to add some blueberries. Again, how much do you add? As much as you want. Blueberries, well, actually any berries. You can use sloe berries. You could use, I guess, strawberries, anything you want. Anything with a low sugar content, so probably not strawberries. But it's optional. So it doesn't really matter. You can add a little, you can add a lot, you can add none. It adds a little vitamin C. It doesn't really add anything to the taste, in my opinion. You can kind of sort of smell blueberry, but you can't really taste it. Okay, there's another one. Gonna form that into a bar. And another one. And this will firm up as it sits, as I said, because the fat absorbs into the meat. In the olden days, they would wrap it in leaves, parchment if they had it, skins, animal skins, just whatever they had available. Squeeze that together a little tighter. And we'll just keep going with this and see how many we get. Looks like each bar keeps getting a little smaller. And again, you just have to kind of play by ear. Do you have enough fat or not? You just have to make some. Basically, you get a little experience with it and you can learn about how much fat you need to keep its shape. But again, see, you want to be able to squeeze it, hold it, and it holds together. It doesn't, see, it's not all crumbly. A little piece might fall off here and there, but see, it's not crumbly. It holds its shape, in other words. And you could leave it like that and just eat it. It doesn't look real appetizing. Kind of reminds me of something I don't think I'd want to eat, but it is edible, just like that. There. Okay, so we've got beef. We got one without blueberries. The rest of these have blueberries. We've got 3 fish with blueberries, 3 chicken, no blueberries, and 2 pork, no blueberries. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let these cure out for a few hours at room temperature. I think that one needs some more fat. Let that fat, again, soak into the meat. Let everything kind of firm up a little bit. Then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. Let it really firm up. Then I'll wrap it up in parchment paper and keep it for a couple days. And then I'll come back and do a taste test on it. Now, the reason I'm going to keep it for a couple of days again is I want everything to work together, blend together, get the flavors blended in together, get the texture worked in, right? Get the, firmed up, get the fat and meat blended together. All right, and there we are. Yeah, I know what they look like. Let's hope they don't taste like it. Okay, so I'm going to get all this stuff cleaned up, and after I made quite a mess here, and let these firm up, put them in the refrigerator, and then we'll come back and try it out in a couple of days.